CTV News with Adrienne South.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. One person has suffered life-threatening injuries following a crash north of the city. OPP say a car traveling southbound on Highbury near 9 Mile Road went to pass another vehicle when it slammed into one traveling northbound. It happened around 3:30 this afternoon. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. We have new information regarding the discovery of human remains along the Lake Erie shoreline earlier this week. Elgin OPP were called to the bluffs south of Lake Shoreline just east of Port Burwell on Monday. Word spread quickly that human remains had been discovered in or near a refrigerator or freezer. On Tuesday, a helicopter was seen lifting what appeared to be a rescue stretcher and large rectangular object from the embankment, but police remained tight-lipped about the discovery. Late this afternoon, they announced an arrest. 22-year-old Samuel Waters of Norfolk County has been charged with 1 count of indignity to human remains. Good evening, I'm Adrienne South. Thanks for joining us. We now know the names of the 3 people who died in a car crash near Listowel last night. 60-year-old Walter Yetman, 58-year-old Donna Yetman, and 28-year-old Stephanie Rollison, all of London, were in the same SUV when it collided with a transport truck. A 2-year-old boy, also in the vehicle, remains in London Hospital tonight with non-life-threatening injuries. CTV's Jeff Pickle is just back from the site of the crash and brings us the latest. A horrifying scene in South London today as police and firefighters tried to stop a distressed man from setting himself on fire. We warn you that the video you are about to see is disturbing. At 1:30 outside the Canada Citizenship and Immigration Office on Exeter Road, a man doused himself with gasoline and set himself ablaze. American warplanes were about to launch and Navy ships were in position, all poised for a military strike against Iran. But just minutes before the first shots were to be fired, the U.S. president abruptly called it off. CTV's Tom Walters has the details. Elgin OPP are asking for the public's assistance in locating 38-year-old Christopher George of Central Elgin. He was last seen in St. Thomas on Wednesday. Police say he is considered dangerous and they have a warrant for his arrest. George is described as an Indigenous male. He is 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing 315 pounds. It's the final long weekend of summer. That means many of us will hit the roads or hit the waterways over the next few days. And as CTV's Brian Bicknell tells us, OPP plan to be out there as well.
One person is in critical condition in hospital tonight following a fire in South London. The fire broke out on Langarth Street this morning in a 3-story apartment complex. CTV's Adrienne South has been on scene throughout the day and joins us now with the latest. Adrienne?
Camille, what we know so far is that the fire broke out on the 2nd story of this apartment complex at 140 Langarth Street West. And we know a woman from the unit where the fire started was taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries, and she remains there in critical condition at this hour. Now, I spoke with neighbors in the area who say that as the fire was happening this morning, residents from the building flooded the street, many of them in their bare feet, looking visibly shaken, cold, and distressed as they watched CPR being performed on the woman.
Well, it was about 8 a.m. and I heard the fire trucks coming down the road and just looked out the window and there was 1, then there was 2, 3, 4.
This was the scene this morning on Langarth Street West as fire crews responded to reports of a structure fire in this 3-story apartment complex.
London Fire Department arrived on site with nothing visible upon arrival. Once fire crews entered into the 2nd floor where the fire was reported, they encountered heavy smoke on that 2nd floor.
Fire crews say the fire broke out in a 2nd-story unit where a woman was found. Neighbors say it was a disturbing scene.
There was a lot of people shaking and scared, and then we saw them carry the lady out of the house onto the front yard.
Kathy McConkey offered up her home across the street to anyone who needed it, like resident Judy Whiteman, who was quite shaken from the incident.
I heard the smoke alarm go off. I heard the alarm, so I wondered what was going on. And then I looked out the hallway. The next door up from me, there was a fire, black smoke. So I walked out of there. I could smell it, and then I went out the back.
Whiteman says this is the 2nd major fire to break out in the building in the last 5 years. A 39-year-old man passed away in the same building after a fire in a basement apartment unit in June of 2015. In both cases, fire crews credit working smoke alarms for allowing everyone else to evacuate safely. All 22 other units were evacuated quickly, and a London Transit bus was sent to the scene today to keep residents warm.
There was all the people around. They brought in the city bus. All the residents of the building got on the bus, and it was mayhem, to say the least.
Crews remained on scene throughout the afternoon. Anyone with information on the incident is being asked to call London Police or Crime Stoppers. And Camille, there's still no word yet on the cause of the fire, but an investigation is now underway by London Police, London Fire, and the Ontario Fire Marshal. What we know also is that the Canadian Mental Health Association tells us they support several people living in this building, but they say those they do support are safe and accounted for. But still, it's been a very emotional day here for many people, especially those who lived through a similar situation in the past.
CTV's Adrienne South reporting for us tonight. Thanks, Adrienne.